You guys don't care.
Very proud of Chris. But also, we got a chance to speak with Shane Simmons today. And he kind of talked about his journey back, the progress he's made, and mentally pushing through, missing that kind of football time. Where is he right now in his fourth year on campus, and how has he kind of come out the other side from that whole process?
Yeah, and we got a bunch of guys. Bowers is another similar story. But yeah, we're really proud of Shane. Shane's got unbelievable support at home from mom and dad. We have a very close relationship with mom and dad, which I think helps. Shane's got very high standards and expectations for himself, which is a really good thing, but also makes it challenging when you have an injury like that and it's killing you because you want to be out there. And then I think the other challenge is when those guys come back, it's like they expect to be back and be no different than they were before the injury. But, it took some time to knock some of the rust off, to get the twitch back. But we're very pleased with him. He's playing at a high level. He's smart. He's physical against the run. He's got freakishly long arms. It helps him in the run game. It helps him in the pass game as well. And I just think you're going to continue to see him gradually get better as this year goes on and his career goes on. So we couldn't be more excited about him and his future. I think you're going to see him continue to show up, making more plays and causing havoc, each weekend.
Hey, James, does margin of victory or defeat, does that matter? Is there any significance to you with that?
No, I'd love to be able, if there's a way to carry the points over, but it obviously doesn't work like that. But where it does matter is getting other guys reps and experience. And I think this year probably more so than other years, the guys that are going in, the backups, are more ready to play, are playing with more confidence. We've played shutout football before, but when we put the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s in the game like we did Saturday, people would score on them. And I thought our defense went in and played really well. I thought our offense, the first 2 drives, didn't execute as well, the 2s and 3s. But then they ended up doing a great job after that. And on top of that, they were going against pretty much their 1s. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. Obviously, on the outside, there's an optics part of it that I think does factor in. I don't know if necessarily it should, but I think it does, especially across the country when people are just seeing scores. Does it have an impact? Yeah, I think it does. But for us, I think the biggest value is getting our starters out of the game to keep them fresh and gain some experience with those other guys.
Hey, Coach, how do you think the team is like in wearing some new uniforms?
I'm sorry?
How do you think the team is like the new uniforms you guys?
Oh, they love it. They love it. It's really come at a good time for us because it's just kind of a change of pace. It's like changing practice up. It's like a bye week. It's just something new and fresh. They love it. We do these alternate uniforms, and I think here in this community, it's a big deal. Nationally, people turn on TV, they're like, you guys did nothing. Like, what is the alternate uniform? But it's the white shoes. It's amazing. And, young guys are, if the white shoes they think is the greatest thing ever. They think it's the greatest thing ever. And it's like, you remember when you were like 8 years old and your mom would buy you a new pair of shoes and you thought you were faster in the new shoes running up down the aisle? That's how our guys are. It's like, we wear black shoes, so what do they want? They want the white shoes. If we had white shoes, what do you think they'd be wanting all the time? The black shoes. So it's a nice little change up. Thank God for one game in our history allowed us to do this. And we have documentation, pictures.
KJ's got 10 more touches, I think, than he did at this point last season. Is that about what you foresaw early in camp, or could you guys maybe get into the ball field?
Yeah, more. 30 catches a game would be
what's ideal?
Would be great. It's hard to say that. Honestly, with your offense, there's going to be games where Jahan Dotson catches 12 balls and KJ catches 5. There's going to be games where KJ catches 15 balls and Jahan catches 4, or Freiermuth, or Shorter, or Daniel George, or so on and so forth. Because although we have a plan to get guys the ball, it's all at the end of the day dictated on what the defense is going to run. So you make a call, but it's not like you can just force the ball. You got to go where the coverage and the read takes you. But yeah, I think obviously the more our playmakers can touch the ball, the better. I think the great thing for us is we got a bunch of those guys. You know, I think Freiermuth, obviously can make plays. I think our running backs can make plays. I think Bowers showed that he can make plays. We got a bunch of wide receivers that can make plays. But yeah, I think the more touches, the better. That's why third down is so important, because the more we can stay on the field and get more first and second down opportunities, keeps our defense off the field. It allows us to continue to be explosive on first and second down, and it creates more touches for guys.
Going off of that, you mentioned how in the running game you have you're using 2 tight ends more this year, and you have the ability to do that now with Bowers being healthy. What does it do in the passing game when you have 2 tight ends in the field, things that you might be able to do that you wouldn't be without that?
Yeah, it's funny because you can make a lot of different arguments. First of all, we got 2 really good tight ends, so that helps. I think it helps us in the running game. I think it helps us in the low red zone. I think it'll help us in 4-minute offense. I think it'll help us in short yardage. I also think it helps you because everybody talks about creating space. Well, there's a lot of ways to create space. You can get in spread and spread people out, or you can get in a 12 personnel set, bring everybody in the box. But when you do that, a lot of times you're creating one-on-one throwing situations, which create space that way. Or you bring everybody in tight and allows you to get the ball in the perimeter in the running game. So there's a lot of different ways to create space. It's just how are you looking at it. So I think the 12 personnel stuff helps us in a lot of different ways. But a lot of times when we go 12 personnel, now you got Jahan and KJ on the field, your 2 outside receivers. You're creating space for those guys because now the defense is in a tough position. Are they going to go cloud and play cover 2, a cloud corner and a deep half safety over top of KJ? Well, if you do that, you're in a pretty advantageous run situation to that side. So I think there's some real positives that come with it. And I think stylistically, what I love as a head coach is I want to make sure that we have an offense that not only gives our offense the best opportunity to score points, but also prepares our defense. And as much as we try to work 21 personnel and 12 personnel and do those types of things on our own, it's really hard for your defense to get prepared for those other personnel groups if they never see them from your offense. So I like it because there's more balance. So I think it's better from a head coach perspective. I think it's better from a team perspective.
James, how do you get second teamers like Ellis Brooks and Luketa to not only buy into those roles but kind of excel at them, and how much of a message is that sending to a kid like Brandon Smith, who comes in as a 5-star and maybe realizes there's something to be said for being a second teamer?
Well, I think a couple things. I think it's a little bit easier on defense because when you're on defense, those guys. Chris, I'm sorry, I forgot the first year players are waiting for me, but they could wait now. They've waited this long. I think that the first thing is on defense, we play a lot of guys, so that helps. So they're getting a good amount of reps. I think that helps. I think the other thing is if the second team guy respects the first team guy, that helps because he understands it. It's not just a coaching decision. He sees the same thing. And I think that's what you see throughout our team is guys that are the guys that are number 2 that are very productive or good players. They have a lot of respect for the guy that's in front of them, and that helps the dynamic.
Last one.
Hey James, it may not show up on the stat sheet, but how valuable has Ricky Slade been to this team early on, and what kind of potential does he have in the last 8 to 10 games of this season to really have a big role in this offense?
Yeah, I think all 4 of our backs we like. I know you guys want me to talk about something else. We like all 4 of the backs a lot. We're going to keep rotating those guys in. Ricky's got a chance to be successful. Devin's got a chance to be successful. Noah, we've seen them all at times do it. But we got 4 backs that we're really excited about. Ricky's done a great job in the passing game as well as the run game. But we got 4 backs that we're not ready to name a guy. We'll have 4 guys playing.
Thank you, Coach.